I'm not used to her smile 8 years down the line, and I know 19 years.
It can never be enough.
I'm not serving breakfast. If you want, you can cook, and I'm continuing with the cleaning.
Because God is the one who has blessed us with this child. So He has the manual.
There are some people who, when they come to your place, they belittle you.
I had a plethora of expectations.
I realized that there is beauty in dark ladies.
When I get money, I only use it for three things. For fare, credit, and just a small bit just to keep my pocket busy.
This is Family Times. Hello, viewer. Welcome again. This is Family Times, a program that is focused on family, marriage, the bliss and sanctity, the fun that is involved in marriage. This is the place to be. Today we are going to discuss courtship and marriage. And to help us discuss that is a lovely couple, a couple that I love so much. Please introduce yourselves and tell us something about yourselves. I'll start with the gentleman.
Thank you, and we want to say we are privileged to have this opportunity, and also Brother Dave for inviting us in this show. My names are Eric Onyango Mondi, and my lovely wife is Michelle Eric. Thank you.
I can see that blush. Karibu sana to the show. And the lovely couple, our co-hosts, Richard and Tabby. Just introduce yourselves, though I've mentioned your names.
Go on.
Thank you. This is the one and only. My lovely wife, Tabitha Opio, and I'm Richard Uma. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Sitting next to me is the lovely Linda Riaga. Say hi to our viewer.
Hi, viewer.
Welcome again. We are talking about courtship, love in courtship, and love in marriage.
Yeah.
When we talk about courtship, there's so much, we reminisce so many memories, fond memories, beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
And that is what we are going to talk about today. When I think about courtship, I think of so many things. But because Eric and Michelle have been married for how long now?
6 months.
6 months.
6 months.
Yes.
6 months, still hot and sweet. And that is why we invited them here. Karibuni sana once again. But let me start with our co-hosts. When you talk about courtship, what rings into your mind?
Love, happiness, joy.
Sacrifice?
Yeah, sacrifice.
That I can tell.
Yeah, just good things.
Mommy says expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is, you know, when I think of when we were courting, that probably was one of the best times we had together. Yeah.
It's still good.
Before marriage.
Yes.
Yeah,
That was
of
before
course.
marriage.
Yeah.
Before marriage. Indeed, before marriage.
Yeah.
I don't know why you said that, but then it's okay. We will come to that. Eric and Michelle, we just want to get your experience on courtship. How was it?
Thank you, Dave. We want to say, and I want to agree to our co-host, whatever they'll talk about. It's true, courtship has some promises that are there, we say this, but I want to come particular to us. I want to say Michelle is somebody I've seen in church. We've been friends, and we didn't know one day we might end up in that way.
Yes.
Because we've seen people growing, sometimes we quarrel each other, because again, we are in one group singing. So, but it didn't dawn to us that one day we'll be together. But maybe this was God's plan, and maybe when we can say it developed, and David, we can bring it back to him. There's a day he was in our church, and when we were sharing, he told us something that one day you people, maybe they were talking to, he was talking to Michelle, and like a joke, which maybe I can ask Michelle, can share with us what happened. Yeah.
Very on.
Okay, what exactly happened is this.
Yeah.
Dave came for
a youth week of prayer in our church. It was the first time I was seeing him. I'd never seen Dave
Yes.
all my life. So when I took food to him, we were like serving him the food with the girls that are in the church.
Yes.
So when I took food to him, he was like, aha, and who are you? I told him, I'm Michelle. Just watch out. Then I was like, why are you telling me to watch out? You see this guy here might end up to be your husband. Now it turned back, I saw Dave in Moses' wedding, but we were never friends, we were never close, there's nothing that used to happen. So I told Dave, Mimi, Michelle, Nyanyaka, to go to a Lego, that will never happen.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
There is a prophet in the house. It came to pass 6 months ago. It happened.
Yeah.
But then I just want us to, again, Michelle and Eric, we want to talk about courtship. Now, it is coming out clear, Richard, that they didn't know that one day they'll end up together. Now, courtship.
Yes.
Courtship, she said, comes before marriage.
Yes.
What is the expectations when we're talking about courtship?
Well, courtship. Wow. You see this lady, and blood begins to run, and you lose a bit of your senses,
The knees.
and the shyness goes, and the courage comes in, and you face her.
What is that?
Dave, this one is, I just don't know what to call it. But it's that thing, that thing, I call it just that thing. Can't explain it. And pop, you see it, and you like it, and you are feeling, yes, this is the one. Then you say those words. Sometimes they sound very, very funny words. But for as long as they get you what you want, they are wonderful words anyway. And you begin to relate. When you begin to relate, you go to your bed, David, you can't sleep. You only see this beautiful face. It's looking at you, responding. You have daydreaming. You think about it and how beautiful and nice it's going to be. You see yourself walking the aisle, holding hands and saying, I do, I do, I do. And before you go to that place, promises, imaginations. You think. You only think the nice things. You don't think any other thing. Because that is what courtship is all about.
Yeah.
Invitations and hotel visits and, all the nice places. You want to go there with her. Yeah, that's courtship.
Yes, Richard, you have answered. Eric.
Just to pick it from where he's talking about, it happens one of these days, I think on Sunday, then I was at my place. And something just came to me. This is somebody I've been seeing, and that blood has been running.
Yes.
And I took my phone and said, no.
Did she know that the blood was running?
Maybe she wasn't. Sometimes that secret admirer. You admire, but you not take the approach.
The problem is that ladies don't see these things.
Exactly.
They don't see that.
So
They don't see that.
I took that courage and texted, hey, hi. And so like, okay, how are you? I'm doing fine. Kindly, today, can you just maybe visit me where I stay?
Was that the first time you were sending a text message?
That was the very first time I was doing that.
How did you receive that text message?
Actually, I was asleep.
You didn't get it right away.
And no, it was cold that day. It had rained. It was on a Sunday.
Oh, yes.
So I was like, now who is this texting me surely? I took the phone. Then I saw Eric. Hi. I'm like, okay. Today, can you kindly pay me a courtesy visit? It found when the other time the youths were going to his place, and I refused to go there.
Okay, hold on. Eric, this was your
right.
Go ahead.
Sorry. So when I did that, and the response was like, okay, I wanted to, alikuwa na alala, as in she was sleeping, and I said, okay, what you do, if you find time, just come, I'll be in the house. But then she found time and came. Then what happened, we talk, no, we fear each other, we want to talk about choir.
Hold on. Michelle.
Yeah.
This is a gentleman that I told you about, but it never occurred to you.
Didn't strike
While
you?
you were going to his place, what was in your mind?
There was nothing really important on my mind. The only thing I knew is that we've been friends. Okay, Eric is one person. We never used to date, but we used to be close. The funny thing with Eric, he used to know the kind of men I date. And when I'm heartbroken, I used to go and cry on his shoulders as a friend.
He offered a shoulder.
So there was already a foundation for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Eric, go on.
Now, then after that, we left with other. I escorted her to her place.
You what briefly?
Here we just some light moments. We talked. Then we were talking about most of them were the group, the church, how things are going.
It's a common ground.
Yeah, how? But then that was I migrated that place on Friday. Then on Saturday, she didn't come. So I was like, oh, these people came and they were like 1, 2, 3. So after that, we left each other. The next day, now that week on Friday, and when I was from town, I saw Michelle with somebody. No, she was walking at a place. I was like, I felt bad. Yeah, I was like, then I left it there.
I guess that's when it hit you.
Yeah.
Yes, that something needs to be done.
No, what happened after me leaving on Sunday, on a Monday morning, there's a word Eric told me on that very Sunday at night. I like you, but getting you might seem to be a problem. I got annoyed. Eric could call me the whole week, I'm not picking. He could text me, I'm not replying the text. Now, one of the friends, one of the colleagues actually from his workplace asked him, Eric, why is it that you are not sober this week? What's wrong? He was I'm just fine.
Just like God asked Cain, why is your countenance fallen?
Yeah, so that,
Eric was it himself.
That Friday, actually the guy that I was with just came. He wanted to see a certain house.
So you were dating before he called you to his place?
No, I wasn't dating. My heart had just been broken by that time. Yeah.
Okay.
Eric, go on. I just want to bring in something else.
Yes, Dave. So after this, then I just said, no, maybe it was never meant. Then I left everything. To my surprise, on Saturday, the first person I found on church was Michelle.
You say, God, this is an answered prayer.
When you see that your heart like beats, again, this was happening. No, we quarreled, then there are other words we said, then we left it there. I was like, okay. We just greeted each other, then continued with other things. Yeah, and that's how it started. Now, after that, after all this, we met on Sunday. And from this Sunday, you could maybe see there's something, you know, when somebody looks at you and there's that secret.
The spark.
Yes.
The spark.
So you try, and when she looks you back, you like blush.
Your heart skips a bit.
Yeah.
Just hold on to that thought. Michelle, you just brought in something that I wanted to ask maybe Richard and Tabby to comment about. When you are courting, is it a must that if I'm courting this lady, is it a must that we have to get married? Is it?
It's not. I don't think it is a must that you get married because you may disagree while you're still in courtship, and that probably you can end up the relationship before you go to the place of marriage. So it's not a must. And I know many people who have been in that time in courting, and eventually they break up and the marriage doesn't come to be. Yeah, so it is not a must.
And again, in courtship, I think that's when you get to learn someone. And
Dating,
if you see...
dating and courtship. Okay,
Yes.
just continue.
When you see there is something that maybe you will not get along with, you just break. So it is not a must. Yeah.
Okay. So Eric, you want to comment on?
Yes, I wanted to say this. Having said all this, it started. It was a vehicle on the move. But there's something unique that I came to found out, that both of us were orphans, total orphans.
Okay, just hold on. Michelle,
Yes.
the moment now you realize that this gentleman is
the man.
is interested and is throwing vibes.
Yes.
How are you taking the vibes? Did you know that he's from
Serious?
where I told you, and you said you'll never go?
Go there.
Yeah, I knew he was from that place. Okay, the reason as to why maybe I took him serious, actually, Eric is the one who made me to break up with the immediate boyfriend, and he came in the picture. Yeah, because he found out the other guy was seeing older women women now, not even ladies. So he called me and told me, actually he called me quarreling. You know, you're a very pretty woman, and I can't understand why you just put your head on one man, and this is what he's doing. So I was like, Jesus, why is this man now telling me all this? Then I was like, okay, maybe he wants the best for me. Then I had to hold on at some point. Now, when I realized he was serious, I said, now let me tie this man down. I went and told my parents, Dad, I'm dating this
These
guy.
are now your foster parents.
This is what is happening. Then my dad was like, I know him, he's a gentleman. I just hope that it will not come to another heartbreak so that you start suffering the way you've been suffering. Yeah.
Dave, well, I just want to find out from you. You dated and you went to the place of courting. How was it? How was the courting period?
Thank you.
And how long was it?
Let me say something.
Yes.
I want to tell even our viewers, there are some even decision you make in life. People will say, no, so and so doesn't match. We had even such like, and even from the relatives, from friends.
Actually wanted to ask the next question, but now that he's brought it, just go continue.
So from friends, when maybe you made a step and tell somebody, no, I'm dating Michelle, people are like, huh? Eric, Michelle, does they?
No compatibility.
But I came to realize something. You can make somebody what you want.
Yes.
Yes. Even if he's a drunkard, or that thing she or he does, you as a person, you can make that person the person you want.
Yes.
And I remember after some times,
Yeah.
I realized people are saying, what did you do to Michelle? Even her best friend told me, hey, Eric, what happened? Michelle. And I was like, because you know, those times there are other things, you know. But I told her before we started, are you ready that we can move on? And when we are moving on, it means there are other things we have to drop down so that we move on.
Yes.
It was challenging even for her, but what I know, a change is a gradual process.
Yes.
At the end of the day, the things were up to date.
So we are talking about friends and we are talking about relatives.
Yeah.
Some are against it, some are positively telling you this is the right way to go.
Yes.
I know that love surpasses all understanding, and love can melt the heart of stone.
Yes.
If you don't believe on what I'm saying, if you look at John 3:16, it says that God loved the world, that He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever believes should not perish but have everlasting life.
Very true.
We are going to come back and talk about this in a short while. Stay tuned. Welcome back, viewer. This is Family Times. We are talking about courtship and marriage, and we are having our guests tonight, this day, Eric and Michelle. And we have just talked about courtship. We have talked about the wonderful dating. We've talked about the phone calls. We've talked about everything about courtship. Now we want to talk about marriage. Michelle, when you said I do, were the phone calls reduced? What happened? Let's talk about the communication when, before and after.
Honestly, the communication reduced. Because when we were dating back then, he could call me in the morning when he gets in the office, at around 10 and at around 12. And 4, when he's about to leave work, then he'll call me at 5. Tukutane White Gate.
Oh, yeah. He was hoping to meet you. To be called.
But now, since we got married, he can go to work and we'll end up calling at 5 when he's leaving the office. Now, maybe as a woman, maybe you'll feel neglected in a way, but as a wife now, because by then you are a girlfriend or a fiancé, now you say maybe responsibilities are there, maybe he's too busy for me. Sometimes I even call him, I ask him, kwani umesahau uliniacha kwa nyumba? Then he's like, baby, I've been too busy. So I'm like, okay, siku hizi uko busy, ni sawa.
Tabi, can you relate to that, even 19 years later?
I know, right? I think mine is almost the same story. But one thing I have to say is he prepared me. He told me, you know what? When we get married, it's going to be different. Because, you know, I think because you see each other throughout, as much as he goes to work and I also go to work, but I think there's just that sense of security. Oh yeah, you know I have her. You know?
There is contentment. That I've won that battle. And whoever I had to call all the times and all that is right in my house.
Right.
So when I'm very peaceful where I am.
Actually,
I'm very peaceful at work. I know she's there. And even if she doesn't, I don't call her. I know we are going to meet in the house.
See, so that's the mistake most men.
But the other time is so different.
So
things change. Things change. The things that you used to do in courtship, most of the time, they will not be maybe 100%, but some little bit of the percentage will.
But
it's okay.
You're saying that because you have been married for 8 years. Michelle here has been married for 6 months.
Yes.
How does she understand that it has changed? What has changed? Because Eric is still the same guy. Michelle is still the same lady.
Yes.
What has changed?
Yes.
The fire.
I think it's you meant to tell us, because if you're making such an effort and making all those phone calls and then suddenly things change, you tell us. Tell us what's really...
What do you want to know?
Yes.
What do you want to know?
Eric is
David, as men, this is what I'll still concur with him. What you are saying, you find that you feel this person now is all mine.
You're
at peace. I'm at peace.
There's no competition.
Nobody wants to snatch her from me. She's there for me all time you're there.
But you'll be shocked.
Find her.
You'll be shocked because we have a lot of issues again if you do not make an effort. So as much as she is yours, you still have to make an effort.
Again, there's another problem. When you've made me used to you doing me something and you suddenly decide to maybe lower the percentage. I'll put question marks.
Okay, what happened to the flowers?
What happened to the flowers?
Fine, communication, I'm busy. What happened to the flowers? Have they withered? You see, what happened to the chocolate?
Dave, I think the difficulty which is seen here comes from the fact that you were working when you were courting.
Right.
But you still had time to make the calls and send the text.
Yes.
How come you're now very busy, you can't do the same? You know, and I think to all ladies, so
Hold on, Richard. Which side are you on?
I'm only trying to
balance.
I'm only trying to balance things. Yeah, because you know, we were also receiving texts, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we were also getting letters as well.
Right. Yeah.
But suddenly these ones have reduced. Now we're only the ones who are supposed to send the text.
Exactly.
They don't send them back. Or they don't write us before we send anything. If they would make the same effort, send us one to provoke the reply, you can say, oh, I'm good, but I'm busy. Thank you. You see, probably
Short
this is where the...
and precise.
Yeah.
Initially, it used to be long. Let's talk about gifts and the presents. How was it before?
Just even to react on this and say, during that time, our colleague says here that sometimes there are other things that she used to buy, as some clothing, some shoes, and even the shoes I'm wearing today, she's the one who bought.
Can you get that?
But again, when things now, we got married, you find these things are reducing. You can't know, they're now promises. No, one day I'll surprise you. One day I'll surprise you.
And
that day never comes. Like recently I was told on Friday you'll be surprised. So I was eagerly waiting for that Friday and I came to the house early.
Yes.
My other surprise, it wasn't there.
It wasn't there.
Oh, I'll surprise you.
Yeah.
So those gifts even, they're never there. I don't know why. Maybe...
Like Dave, I'm still waiting for he told me how many years ago that he'd take me to Mombasa. I am still waiting to go to Mombasa.
Though I know you have been to Mombasa, but you want him to take you to
How
Mombasa.
did she go to Mombasa if I wasn't there after she was married?
No, the thing is, after that, you told me, you know what, we'll just make a special trip. I am still waiting.
Did I ask you today that when did you go to Mombasa with me?
That's a long time.
Did I ask you the question?
Yeah, you did.
I did.
Yes.
So the intention is still there. Let's go on.
They still hope.
Michelle, there are these beautiful words that Eric used to tell you. Are they still there?
Somehow.
The honey,
Yeah, it
the
depends.
darling.
The honey things, the darling thing. Or,
if you want
and
some
maybe
favor.
he'll call you darling if you want. Sweetie, sunifanyie.
Favors.
Yeah,
That's
sweetie,
bribing, right?
Yeah, sunifanyie. And when he's, okay, the funny thing with Derek, when he's mad, he'll always call me by name. Mitch. I'm Michelle, but people call me Mitch. He'll be like, Mitch. But when he's okay, normally, he'll always call me baby. That is what he calls me in the house every day, anything. But when he's annoyed, he'll come like, Mitch or Michelle. So I'm like, when he calls me that, I'm like, kumewaka moto. Wacha ningoje nisikie what I'm being told. But the sweet things are there.
So we are in agreement that there are stuff in courtship that some transit into marriage, but there are others that remain in courtship.
Get lost along the way.
My problem is, where do they go to? Why are they getting lost? Is the spark gone? Is the fire dead? But I would ask Richard and Tabby.
I think
The fire, what happened? Has it reduced, or responsibility has taken over the fire?
no, since we've been married for 19 years, there's, how do you call it? There's a map. At times it's low, at times it's high.
A
The
graph?
graph.
The graph, that's the right word, yeah. There's a graph. So when you start, it's still hot and everything is good. And then priorities change. You know, probably you have to pay a lot of school fees to your siblings.
No,
Probably-
even before, okay, to your siblings. Now,
Yeah, for example.
I'm actually coming back to relatives, but
Yeah.
just finish what you're saying.
Yeah. So one thing I have realized that as you grow older, this spark comes back. Shock. Yes. So you might lose it in the middle, but with time, because you're growing, and there's some priorities, and you decide to yourself, you know what, this is what I want. You know, when you're still this how do you call that? When you're still in this category, you're still not sure. You're still learning your spouse. You really do not know so much about them. You know, so you have to tread
Some things that probably you didn't even know. You could not learn
even imagine.
When you're away.
in courtship.
Yes.
But now you're getting
Exactly.
The marriage doesn't kill love.
Yeah,
It doesn't. Marriage actually enhances love. People just come closer, and so that distance which was covered by texts, the distance that was covered
You're
by
not
very many
together.
things in
By
the
the
absence
two, yeah.
of the two being together, are now here.
Yeah.
And therefore there is more of,
Contentment.
communication by word than anything else. When you leave your house, you know that today this and that should be done,
Right.
and you expect that to be done. I have my responsibilities going out, and when I come home, I have to fulfill them. So the texting and all that now reduces.
It does.
But it doesn't.
Mean
It
that.
doesn't mean that there is no love.
Yeah.
Love still exists because it's what is holding the whole thing. Nobody, our viewer, should imagine that courtship was the best time. I want to believe that marriage is the best time.
If you allow me to read this verse, Eric, you're coming in, but let's just read this verse. Marriage, again, if you're just joining us right now, marriage was instituted by God in the Garden of Eden. That is Genesis chapter 2, verse 21. But I would want us to read verse 24. We would have read from verse 21 to 25.
Genesis chapter
2, verse 21.
Verse 21 says, And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs, and closed up his flesh instead thereof. And the rib which the Lord God had taken from man made a woman, and brought her unto the man.
Yes, my point there is that God knew that Adam was alone, and he took one of his ribs, and he made a woman suitable for the man. And that is why we need to know, we need to understand that even during marriage, you said it nicely, that courtship isn't the real thing. Marriage is the real thing. Yes. You had a comment.
Thank you, Dave. I want to say even to our viewers that despite the challenges that we can say are there, for the last 6 months that we've been married, I can say there are other things we've enjoyed as a family. Because one, You can come to the house, you find your clothes are clean, everything is okay, food is prepared. Something that used not to happen before. Can take even 1 week without cooking in that house. The utensils are dirty and everything. But here is a case, you come, you find everything is in place. You just come, go and pick one. Even when I was coming here today,
nice.
I just reached the house and pull a shirt.
Eric, I'm worried. No, are you trying to say she's your... Because when you're saying to say that you never used to cook and clean the house and she's doing that, I'm getting a different picture.
Not exactly that she does.
You help her, right?
Exactly.
Good. Yeah, that's what I want.
Where I can come in, I come in.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Michelle, do you enjoy doing it, or you feel like it's your responsibility?
I enjoy doing
You
it.
enjoy
You enjoy
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah, I do.
You love it when
When
We
he's
do it
smart in town, people, like there's a friend of ours comes and tells me, hey, Churicha no Turematech. I'm like,
she
that's
means
okay.
that your husband was immaculately dressed.
Praise comes to you,
Yeah.
and you feel the joy of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do.
Yes. Now, do you have things that you feel you are regretting,
Right.
or things that you think shouldn't be there in your marriage, given the transition now?
As
Do
you
you
comment
feel
on
down
that,
about them? Some of us felt that in the past, and we have gone on regardless.
Yeah,
You know, you have such moments when you feel that
Yeah, at
it
times.
should have been better.
Yeah, like maybe when we fight over something or when you quarrel over something.
Yes.
You know, they say when you're in a house, you're like your rivals because I want to do this, he wants to do that.
Yes.
And I'm a Sanjuin.
Yes.
I tend to get emotional quickly.
Okay.
And maybe I'll even shed a tear if he does something wrong to me.
tell me
Then
about
I'm
that.
like,
you know someone who does that.
yeah. So I'm like, why did I even get married in the first place? I think I should have stayed at my mom's place. But all the same, you come and find that reality now has done what has dawned into you.
Yes.
There's nothing you can do. You are tied to that man forever. There's a day he annoyed me and he told me, hata kama umekasirika, you are tied to me forever. I was like, oh, okay. Sawa.
And this, some of these things that make you quarrel, if you look at them, are they big stuff, or they're just
But actually,
small misunderstandings?
These are small things that I came to realize you can make them between the
mountain.
two of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the two of you that can make this thing be solved. When we were starting, we had some relatives, and like some could even report at home, you know, sometimes he doesn't wake up, she doesn't wake up to prepare tea. But I came to realize it's not her duty to prepare that tea every morning.
You are too.
Sometimes she is supposed to wake up and find the tea is ready. You see such like
Yeah,
things.
that is why the Bible says that this is your helper.
Yeah, yeah. So even other people that will be joining this soon, it should not be like it's her duty to do some things. We should share the responsibilities.
Just on that, Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 8 talks about something. It's a Bible, it's a book that I love so much, especially chapter 3 from verse 1. It talks about a time. There's always a time for everything. What does it say?
3:8 says, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace.
There is always time for everything.
Everything, yeah.
But remember, marriage, there should be more bliss in marriage than anything else. Michelle,
Yeah.
I want you, even as you comment, you also give your final submission to that person out there who hasn't been married yet, especially that lady. Tell them whether it works or not.
Okay, Linda's just read about peace. At times, we quarrel in the family, and you feel too proud to say sorry. Or when you're told sorry, like me at times when he tells me sorry, I'm like, let me teach him a lesson. I really teach. There's a 1 week, I taught him a lesson. And it was on a Sabbath, he told me, sitoki kwa hii kitanda if you have not told me that you did that you've forgiven me. So I was like, okay, I was still feeling proud, you know. You know, we ladies, when you are being told sorry by a man, there's that sweetness that you feel. Huh? So you are like,
No, no, that.
there's that sweetness you feel, because they always expect us, Linda, they expect us to be sorry all the time, right?
No, don't pull Linda into this.
I'm not pulling her into this. I'm just telling her the truth.
Yeah.
You expect the man to apologize, but you expect the woman to apologize, but not the man to apologize. But all in all, as you have said, there's time for peace and there's time for everything. You have to succumb all these and know that he's your husband. You are tied to him forever.
Yes.
You swear for better, for worse. So to our viewers, marriage is a beautiful thing, but at all times know that there are challenges, and challenges must come, and they will always come.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Eric, 10 seconds.
Thank you. What I want to tell even our viewers and the young that are yearning to come into this, they say those who are in the marriage want to go out, and those who are out want to come in. But I want to say, as we are preparing to get into this, make that person the person you want. And another thing, let's always be ready to say sorry. That one will heal us. And no matter the thing that had happened, it will really heal us.
Thank you. Thank you. Tabby?
To our viewer, I want to encourage you, it does not matter what you're going through in your marriage. Somebody else has been married for 5 years, 6 months, 20 years, and above. They have gone through so many challenges. But one thing that has kept us going is communicating with God and communicating with your spouse.
Thank
and
you.
all will be well.
Linda?
To our viewer, marriage is a school we learn. God bless you.
Wow. Richard, you have about 30 seconds.
Well, thank you, Dave. To our viewer, we are in this game together. If you make a decision to be married, let's go it over. Let us not give up, because marriage is a thing. This is one of those things that God is in it, and God will continue to guide us. Don't run away.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It has been a pleasure having you guys. Once again, God bless you in your marriage, even as you grow into it, grow in love. Viewer, this is the place to be. This is where it gets hot but sweet. Family Times is the place. Marriage was instituted by God. God knew that man would not be alone, would not make it alone. But this he knew, and he gave him a woman. Marriage is the thing. The only part I need to tell you is that you can't try it while you are not married yet. God bless you. See you soon.